Now, when we're qualifying you for a mortgage, you guys will see here, and we're going to cover it. I always tell my clients, we take a look at the 4 C's. So we take a look at your capacity to repay the loan. We take a look at your capital, the collateral, and the credit. If you guys notice, of course, this slide doesn't have it. I'll usually have a QR code on the slides. If you guys scan that QR code, it's going to actually give you guys my digital business card. That's going to give you guys the ability to download it to your phone. And then I also have this PowerPoint also right in there in one of the icons that you guys can click it and you can share it within your phones. So when we're covering the 4 C's, the first thing we look at is your capacity to repay. Has anybody heard of DTI? You get it? Who knows what DTI stands for? What do you got now? No, you said it. I heard you say it. Debt to income, right? DTI is your debt to income ratio. So what that basically means, it's a fancy way of saying how much money do you make. If you're a W-2 employee, we take your gross income. So before Uncle Sam comes and smacks us and takes our money away, right? We take a look at your gross income. If you're a self-employed employee, unfortunately, we take your net income, okay? So when you're a W-2 employee, we take your W-2 income. So essentially, if you make, I always round this number up, if you make $10,000 a month gross, you're a W-2 employee. For an FHA loan, the debt to income ratio is 56%. So I know everybody hears math and then like their brain just shuts off, right? Because I'm the same way. So if you make $10,000 a month, 56%, the max total debt that you can have against you is what? $5,600, right? So what that means is that your mortgage payment plus any minimum revolving debt, credit cards, alimony, child support, car notes, cannot exceed in total $5,600. If it's under, you're good. If it's over, we got a little bit of work to do to maybe pay off a car, right? Maybe wait for the child support to cut off if it's within 3 years, alimony, child support, and stuff like that. If it's within 3 years, it's cut, and stuff like that, right? Conventional allows you to have only 45%. So you guys see a big difference? So Mike was talking awesome about the difference in the monthly payments, or the difference in the down payment. Aside from that, which we'll get to, also capacity to repay, conventional only allows you up to 45%. So that same example that we did, what's the max? 4,500, right? So FHA, you could go up to 5,600. Conventional, you can go up to 4,500. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the capacity? We're good? Cool. So next is the capital, which Mike touched base on, is just your bread. Where's the money coming from, right? And when we talked about capital in our last seminars, we talked about making sure the money is, the money is sourceable. So we can't have the money under the mattress, right? We need to know where is the money coming from, right? Under a few laws, anti-money laundering law and the Bank Secrecy Acts mandates us to know where the money is coming from. So the importance of working with the mortgage professional up front before we see these guys is we want to make sure that do we have access to the capital, and if it's in the bank account, strategically making sure, or if it's not in the bank account, strategically make sure it gets in the bank account, right? Okay, so that's the capital, right? You have access to the cash. The next thing is the collateral. So the home that you're buying, we want to make sure is actually worth what we're going to buy it for, right? So that's where collateral comes in. So we're going to cover also, if you guys come to the next classes, I think I touched base briefly on the difference with inspection and appraisals, right? So there's a difference between an inspection and appraisal. Really shortly, an inspection is to check the conditions of the property, basically with a microscope. Next time, I think we might bring the other first home inspection, I think it is. So he's going to come in, he'll give us a little bit more details on that. But the appraisal is meant to check the value of the home. Okay, so those are the differences between the two. An inspection is to check really the condition. An appraisal does look at certain things within the house too. With FHA, which I'm sure Domingo will cover too, you can have chip paint, cracked window, things along that nature. So FHA is very, very heavily driven on that stuff. Okay, conventional is a little bit more looser. And then credit. So credit comes down to, of course, our credit score. When we take a look at your credit, we take a look at the FICO score model. Okay, so how many of us here use Credit Karma? Right? Credit Karma, if you guys ever logged in, you notice it says a Vantage score. Two different things. So Vantage is usually out of a 900 plus credit score. So sometimes your credit score on Credit Karma is going to be higher than what I see. You know, I tell a client, well, you know, your score came up to 600. Oh, bro, no, what are you doing? It's not me. You know, I'll give you 800 if I have to. But, you know, so that's the difference, right? And we'll kind of go over that. But your credit score, we take a look at, your credit score is comprised of a few different things, statistically. How much is utilized, which is usually where a lot of clients, sometimes their score drops when you're maxing out your cards. Also your payment history, your account types, the number of new credit, and your mixed type of accounts. Okay, so those are the 5 algorithms that are included within your credit score.